name is Tyrone Smith. I'm the founder of First and Go Eat. The mission of First and Go Eat is to provide necessary tools, resources, and outlets for you to be effective members of society. One of our greatest goals here at First and Go Eat is to help you develop a game plan for life. Let's see how we do it. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Tyrone Smith. We're coming to you live with the First and Go Inc. Power Session. We have my man, the man of the hour, too sweet to be sour, Roman Coronado in the house. We're on Facebook Live. We're on Instagram Live. Hey, Roman, it's good to see you, man. Hey, so what you think about everything right now, man? You hear a little instrumental in the background. I know the instrumental, man, like taking you back a little bit to back in the day when you were doing it big boy style at Prepare to Dream, Albany ISD. What year? Check this out, Roman. What year? Tell us a little bit, man. What year were you a part of the journey? The First and Go Inc. experience program, college experience program. Prepare to Dream. What year that was?
Yeah, so this was 2008, I believe, summer of 2008, 2009, my junior year going into my senior year. And we did that trip down to Austin, got to see University of Texas, got to stay in the Jester dorms, which was really cool, and just kind of really get the experience of like being on a college campus and just experiencing it. I remember going to like the food court and checking that out. But yeah man, 2008, 2009, it was some time ago. It was a while back.
Yeah, man, that was a little while back, man. But when you think about it, man, being full circle, that was 2008. Now here it is, man. We're in 2020, right? 2020. That was 12 years ago. 12 years ago. I mean, you look different. I look different. You got the big boy beard. You know what I'm saying? I'm still trying to get the beard action in, man. As you can see, man, all I have is a goatee, brother. I can't get the beard. I mean, God didn't bless me with that, man. So I see you got the beard. I was a little envious, but I let it go. But I'm good, man.
Yeah, I got something growing. You know, I'm trying to work it out. You got the quarantine beard on deck, man. This is the look right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, good. Glad to have you in, man. Glad to have you be a part of, man. As we prepare to celebrate 20 years as an organization. Believe it, man. 20 years as an organization, been doing this work in regards to empowering students. And man, I just thank you, man, for just coming on today. And just, man, tell everybody, man, about just a little bit about like your story before we get into the guided questions in regards to like leadership, life, and legacy. So what is Roman Coronado's story, man? What is your story, man? Give the people what they want right now. What's your story?
Yeah, so I'll tell a little bit about myself. So I'm 29 right now. I grew up in Houston, Texas. We grew up on the north side of Houston, Texas with my mom and my dad. We lived out there and for some time. We moved around from house to house in different areas. But really loved it. When I was about 13 was when we moved out to Humble, Texas. And that's where I had the ability to go to Nimitz High School. And that's where I got the opportunity to meet you guys, right? So, you know, my family, a little bit all over the place. I'm Mexican-American. My dad is a son of migrants, right, who came and worked in Washington, worked in Texas. Eventually, my grandma was able to get her green card, move out here to Houston and the U.S. And so, you know, grateful that, you know, I was able to have that, you know, that instilled in me a little bit, you know, that hard work, that dedication, right? So went to high school out in Houston, out in Humble, Nimitz, Prepare to Dream. Then I went to the University of Texas where I studied journalism of all things, right? So I know if you guys see my title, I'm a financial solutions advisor, but I studied journalism, which I think was a huge help to me and my career and where I'm at now. Even though I didn't pursue that route fully, but the understanding and what I grasped from it was on another level. Started working for a company here in Austin that I'm still working for currently. And then I moved to New York with that same company in 2016, and where I worked in New York for some time. Me and my partner moved out there. And then we moved back to Austin about 2 years ago, which you know, it's where home is. You know, we're Texas natives, right? So we got to be close. We got to be close to home. Being Mexican American, like we're Latinos, we got to be close to our people, right? So good to be back, but you know, we miss New York, but we also miss Texas. So it's that back and forth. But yeah, that's where I'm at now as a financial solution advisor. So you know, just trying to do it big.
Man, that's good, man. Good to see you, man. Good to connect with you, man. Before we kind of jump into the segment today, you know, everything that we're talking about is all about empowerment. So I heard you say that, you know, you were a journalism major. I mean, so how'd you go from being a journalism major to like being basically like in the banking industry as a financial advisor right now?
Yeah, so my story was I started working with Bank of America when I was a junior, well, not actually a sophomore in college, right? So it got to the point to where I needed to make some money to afford college, right? I couldn't, you know, I didn't have a 529, I didn't have you know, a fund that was set up for me to do that, right? So
Right.
in order for me to kind of combat some of that debt that I could have occurred, right? I went ahead and did my thing and got a job as a part-time teller. And so I did that, right? I was a part-time teller and really I did that for some time. And I actually quit after 3 years. And I tried to pursue the journalism, but really the pay was not great for me. And I think you know, I didn't love it as much as I thought I would.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let me take this, you know, this banking thing seriously. Let me take this, you know, this other journey and see where I can take it, see where it can go, see what I can learn. And so, you know, I want to say in 2013 is when I started, I went back to, actually not 2013. Yeah, 2013, 2014, I went back into the banking industry and I really started to like settle down where I was, you know, a relationship manager and, you know, an assistant manager in Texas and in New York. And then in the past year, I've taken on this role as a financial solutions advisor. But really it was just, you know, something that I did, right? I put my head down, just started learning the business, right? I've been doing it for some time already, right? So I kind of knew some backbone. I made friends in the industry. So I was like, let me just take this and run with it, see what I can do.
Man, I'm hearing like love, passion, purpose, sitting down, being still, resetting, you know what I mean? Finding your
Right.
lane, right? I'm hearing all those different things. Right. And that's good, man, that you were able to actually be in tune to that. Because I mean, I have a little flashback as well. I don't know if you know, when I was in college at Baylor, during the off season in the summer, I actually worked for Bank of America 2 years as well. Yeah, no, real talk. I actually worked in commercial deposits. I worked in commercial
Yeah.
deposits for Bank of America. I was very nervous working in commercial deposits because I would pretty much exchange account up to about anywhere from like $250 to $500,000 a day. I had to turn into the vault. You know what I mean? Brother was
Right.
nervous. You know, brother hadn't been around that much money before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I actually worked in commercial deposits, man, for Bank of America, man, for 2 years. My man, Dwayne Moss was the president of Central Texas for Bank of America at the time. Don't know if he's still in banking right now, but he actually offered me a job as well with Bank of America. But you know, as you know, fortunately, man, I was blessed to go to the NFL. But man, I'm truly with you, man, with Bank of America, still banking with them, and man, just glad that you're actually here on board to tell the story and the journey. But one other thing, Roman, tell me this, man. So when you think about like your journey in your life, man, just getting here and being where you are and your family just making great sacrifices, what was it, man, in regards to the sacrifices that your parents had to make for you to be where you are?
Yeah, that's man, that's a story, right? So when I was younger, right? So really where I think it all stems from is the hard work that my mom and my dad really like. They worked hard to get to where they are now, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this. I know a lot of close family members know and friends. My dad went to jail when I was 13 years old, right? For narcotics, right? So he was in jail for a year, but a good portion of right my puberty, my becoming a man stage, right? In a lot of sense. And so with that going on, my mom had to work double time, right? She had to go really in and take on 2, 3, 4 jobs just to make sure that we had food on the table, right? That we got what we wanted for Christmas, right? And I remember, we have some videos. Not only that, my mom was also pregnant at the time. So my mom had my little sister during that time as well. And so, my mom had to really put in the hours, really put in the hustle, right? To make sure that we had enough on our table. But I remember a Christmas where, we got the new Xbox, right? My incarcerated, but I'm getting an Xbox. I'm like, how is this working, right? What is, my mom's out there hustling, right? She was hell at one point, right? So, I know my mom really put in that hours. And then when my dad finally got out of jail, I think it was difficult for him to kind of really, get a job now that he has a felony, right? But I think what he did is he changed his life, right? He said, you know what, I'm gonna do something different, right? I can't go back to those old ways. I can't, risk not being a part of my family's life. And what he did was, he started his own business, right? No one's going to give him a job, but hey, I can do my own thing, right? So he asked around. He wasn't afraid to say, hey, do you guys need this type of work? So he became a fiber optic cable, installer, right? And so he got Landry's, which is a huge corporation, to kind of give him a lot of work, and that fed us, week after weeks, year after year. And so my parents were able to buy a house out in Humble, which is, brand new house, 2 stories. And as a kid, right, 2 stories was like, what?
Yeah.
We got 2 stories. I get my own room. I'm excited. This is not something that we're used to. Before that, we were sleeping on an air mattress in my grandma's house in the living room at night. So I think having for both of them to really say, look, we need to reevaluate, what we were doing before, and now that we have these kids, how can we give them the best future? They really put that down and really went in on it. So I think that really taught me a lot about, and that's my family's put on me, right, to really strive for that.
The journey, man. I'm hearing the journey, man. I mean, the one thing I let people know, man, in regards to the journeys that we deal with and go through in life, there's beauty in the journey, because I truly feel and believe that everything that we've experienced in our life is actually based in the journey, right? And the journey really help us to be who we are when we actually have a purpose and a goal in mind. So, man, that's awesome that here it is. You have your grandparents, they made a decision. They had to fight. Your parents had to fight. Your dad was incarcerated, but yet he overcame to start his own business. But yet he was setting the stage, and your parents and your grandparents were setting the stage for you to do what you're doing today, man. So I just appreciate you, man, for who you are and what you do as well. And when I think about the first topic of focus, and I think about like leadership, I think about the program that we partnered with Aldi and ISD for like many years now, the Prepare to Dream program. It's a college experience program. That's how I first connected with you and many others from Aldi Independent School District. And there was something that was unique that you actually did, right? And you were like a natural leader, because the first segment that we're going to talk about like is leadership, and what does leadership mean to you? So when you think about like leadership, what does leadership mean to you? And what was about your leadership in 2008 about you that was like unique in regards to any other experience I had with students from that one leadership activity that we did? I know you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That was it's funny because after that session, right, you kind of like, yo, that's the first time anybody's ever done something like that. And really what it comes down to, right, with leadership is just, it's your ability to communicate, right? It's your ability and effectiveness to want to listen to the people that you're leading. It encompasses all of that, right? Looking at the people's strengths around you and realizing, okay, this is what needs to happen, or this, and then communicating that effectively. And so going back to 2008, right? We're doing this jump rope activity. We got hundreds of kids trying to do this jump rope activity, and the communication just wasn't there, right? It just we were yelling at each other. We're getting frustrated, especially towards the end. And I think it needed, somebody to just say, hey, look, this is what needs to happen, right? So before I did what I did, right, I took a step back. I said, all right, I reevaluated. What are we doing wrong? What could be fixed, right? And so I just stepped up. I saw that you had a mic, right? And I was like, yo, where's that mic at that you were talking on earlier? I need that right now, because people can't hear. They knew what they needed to do, but they didn't know the counts. They didn't know, they didn't have any type of leadership. It was just everyone just yelling at each other. It's the different groups, right? Starting to build, oh, we need to do this. And then people started to doubt. But they needed someone strong to say, hey, look, this is what it's about. This is what we could do. I've reevaluated. We can really do this if we come together. So, I know that you said I was like one of the first ones. And I think there may have been others after me,
Right.
I know I led the troops, but I think leadership really just, it takes someone to take a step back, reevaluate things sometimes, but it also takes the compassion and understanding of the people around you and what they need, right? So you have to listen to those people in order to lead effectively. If you're leading blindly, right, where you're not taking any feedback in from anybody, then you're not gonna be successful, right? That just becomes a dictatorship at that point, right? So you need to be able to effectively communicate. You also need to take feedback. And I think that's really the number one rule when it comes to leadership, really.
Man, that's phenomenal, Roman, man, because for those who are tuning in, We do this particular activity called a jump rope activity. We were doing it with the Prepare to Dream program with all the ISD students at the University of Texas. And the kids were just, they was chaotic. They was just getting frustrated. It was a tense moment. And I hear this, I'm on the microphone, I'm emceeing. We got the instrumentals playing in the background. We trying to keep the vibe and the energy and the hype going, but they were all frustrated. And what Roman did, Roman said, "Where's your microphone?" He came and got my microphone. He brought everybody together. He galvanized the group. He challenged the group. He encouraged the group, and they actually finished the activity. But what was unique was that he was in all our years, and we had been operating and doing college experience programs at that point for like about 5 years. We're 17 years now in. And so that was the first time a student came and took the microphone and took charge of the whole activity. That was the very first time. I'm sitting back, I'm like, okay, he got it. He got it. And from that moment, man, everybody came together, and and we've been doing this program with all the independent school district, like I said, since 2008, which is like 12 years. But we've worked as a contractor organization with all the ISD for the past 17 years. But with that particular program, it really spoke to the capacity of the work that we were looking to do and what all the ISD expected out of their students, a group of students that are designated student leaders on their campus, but bringing them together to encourage and lift one another up, but yet go back to their campus and empower other students, expanding their influence. And you were part of like the dream team. And like I said, man, that work that we've done with Aldine ISD, man, has been phenomenal. And hey, just let you know, we're going to get ready to do that thing virtually. We're awesome. Going virtual. We're going to prepare the dream virtual experience with Aldine ISD sometime in September or October. So that's big ups, man. So I'm looking forward to that experience. I know you say you want to be a part of that, right?
Hey, I'm there with you, man. Any way that I can be a part of the Prepare to Dream and what is it, the First and Go, I'm in, right? Anything that I can do to contribute, I want to be more involved, and I think that's something that I haven't done with moving, from New York to Texas. I think now that I'm kind of settling down, it's time to find something that I can do outside of work, really, and contribute to the community more than I have.
Hey, man, man, we're always doing the work, man. It's always phenomenal to actually have former students and team members to actually be a part of the experience. And I say alum and team member because not only did you participate as a student, but when you were in college, you came back and participated as a team member as well with the Journey Beyond Dreams element, with the program that we have with HISD and Project Grad, and you came back and worked the Prepare to Dream element with all the ISD. I mean, so man, you truly been a giver, man. And so it just really speaks about you and your leadership and how you approach life. And so when you think about life, right, the next segment, how has your leadership impacted your life in regards to what you do today?
Yeah, and I think leadership, the way that it's impacted me and where I want to go. When I was an assistant manager, it's seeing the growth in my team members, right? And I think, me being the leader that I am, I wanted them to succeed, right? And so no matter where I go, if I'm, a manager, assistant manager at a branch or wherever I'm at, I look at my teammates and I start to see what I think they can be, right? Before they even see it, right? So I was like, look, this is where I think, you can go. Have you thought about this, right? What about this, area? And so, me being the leader that I am in that aspect, I tend to forget about myself. It's like, what do I want, right? What do I need? What do I need to do in order to contribute? And I think going back in is you can't help your community unless you help yourself, right? You can't help your family unless you help yourself, right?
Right.
So in order for me to really take a step further, right, I was like, you know what? Let me learn a little bit about this investment thing, right? Let me really kind of dig into this a little bit and see what I can learn. Because if I can grasp this knowledge, I can take it back to my family, right? I can take it back to my brothers and my sisters. I can take it back to my cousins and really instill in them what I'm learning and how to grow wealth, right? How to build generational wealth. Not only that, how to leave for our families, a legacy, right? So to speak. So I think really it's what I saw in others. It's like, hey, you know what? I need to take a step back and really evaluate what I can do better for myself in order to be a better leader for my community, right? So it's really, you have to have that knowledge. You have to have that ability to give back, right? And I know that that's what you do with the program. And it's funny because I was watching the arena, right? And it was Draymond Green. And he said something that I thought was really, and I don't know if you've seen this clip, but was really empowering for me, right? So he said, it's not about me going back and doing basketball clinics in my community, right? There's enough of those. There's a bunch of people that can go back and do basketball clinics. But what I need to do is I've learned all this thing about financials, and I want to go back and put that into the community, right? And I think about you in that aspect because I know you've done football camps and things like that, but you taking it a step further and really say, hey, you know what, I want to put people in college, right? I need them to have the knowledge of maybe what you didn't have, right, growing up, right, or what you saw others didn't have. So I really think about you and your leadership, and that's really made me a little bit stronger in saying, hey, look, I need to take it a step further. And what can I do to really build my community, build my family, build what we need, what we didn't have the knowledge before, and kind of build that up. So I think that's important.
Man, that's awesome, Roman. I mean, because when you talk about that, that was really like my approach in regards to establishing First to Go Inc. When I sat down with my wife, when I was in college, I knew that we wanted to create a platform or organization to actually give back to young people. Then to go to the NFL and connect with Darnell Walker and a few other guys as well, to really talk about really expanding our reach beyond football camps. Because of course, there are more than enough guys to do football camps. But I was thinking about, how can we create something that's life-changing that actually help young people change their perspective, their mindset, and their outlook in regards to how they approach life. And you're a true testament about that, as well as many countless others, man, that have been a part of our programs, as well as other organizations like ours that do the same work. And that was just like my overall goal. How can I give to individuals? How can I serve, like what you're saying, you're talking about serving and being selfless and leading. How can I serve to be a support to others based on what I know they need, but they don't necessarily know what they need? And that was kind of like my focus and our focus and premise as an organization that really spilled over to individuals like you and many others, because it's about setting self aside and seeing how can I be instrumental in supporting others. And that's what you're talking about in regards to creating generational wealth. Because when you think about wealth and being a financial advisor, there are things in regards to finances that culturally a lot of Latinos and Blacks just don't know a lot about, you know what I mean? Or any other races in regards to like education, but specifically for the minorities. I mean, me personally, like I told you on the phone, man, Roman, if I would have knew you or trusted a financial advisor like you when I was actually in the NFL, I wouldn't have lost that $150,000 that I lost from bad investment. Yes, right. Yes. Me and my family, we lost $150,000 in a bad investment. Yes, I'm going to be transparent. And I told Roman, I said, Roman, the thing about it is, I know you as a person. I know your heart. If there's anybody that needs financial advice, I know you do things the right way. I know you're a person of integrity. I'm going to send them to you. Right. I'm going to send them to you because if I had somebody like you, Roman, in my life, man, when I was in the NFL, I wouldn't have lost $150,000, right? That, okay, it's okay. I no longer have it, but it was a bad investment. But the key is, connecting with people that you can trust that can really educate and empower you in regards to finances. So I told you, Roman, man, anybody come my way, dude, I'm shooting your way, man.
Hey, man, I'll take you. Look, I'm just happy, to be able to instill what I know into other people, right? And the moment I learn something, I want to tell somebody else, right? If I'm playing on the Xbox with some of my cousins, playing Call of Duty, right? I'm talking to them, hey, let's set up this investment account, or hey, what are you thinking about the future? What's your plan, right? Let's talk about inflation, right? How does that work? How does that affect you, right? You got, my dad to this day, right, still keeps money under his mattress, right? And it blows my mind, like, Pops, you gotta be better than this, right? And he has his reasons, but it's one of those things where it's like, all right, now he's kind of coming along. He's like, well, this is interesting. Right. But it's also like this notion that we can't force any of this information on people, right? And as much as we want to, right, it's like, just do it, right? Listen to me, trust me, but they gotta want to come to you, right? But it's that you got to put that in their head, right? Like, hey, look, this is some knowledge that I can teach you, right? Yeah, this is my job. I can gain from this in a way, but really it's for you. But I don't ever want to do something that you don't want to do or you don't believe in, right? But I'm going to talk to you about it because I'm going to show you, hey, look, this is what's happening, right? If you're a long-term investor and this is what you want in life, let's talk about how we can get there, right? And so I think it's just super important for people to understand it and then decide, rather than just be fearful, which I think a lot of people in our community are, right? They're fearful of something that they don't know about.
Right.
they've never
Right.
thought about. They say, oh, it's a gamble, right? And so those things, right? Yes, there's risk involved, right? And when you're doing investment, right? Investing in anything, right? Real estate, brand new Jordans, right? If you're buying a car, right? There's risks involved. You buy a brand new car, drive it off the lot, you're losing value immediately.
Yeah.
So there's different things that people in our community can really start to understand and not be fearful of it. Really learn it and then decide, hey, look, this is not for me or this is for me. And that's 100% fine, right? But we have to give ourselves the tools to really achieve what we want in life. And if we don't have those tools, all we have is a screwdriver for the rest of our life. We don't have a hammer, we don't have a Phillips, we don't have, a wrench. It's gonna disable us in a way. So, it's trying to give our community all the tools that they need.
Man, you might as well drop the mic on that one, dude. I know right now, man, if we have Miss Keaton watching, man, from Alden ISD, she's excited. Dr. Davis, I know she's excited, man. And all those others, man, who've really been a part of your life in regards to this journey where you are right now, because you're really like dropping knowledge, man. I think that's really critical and key, because I think, a lot of times people are fearful. For what they don't know about, fear takes over, man. So, man, I really appreciate you, man, for what you're doing and how you're being used. But quick question, before we go into the closing segment about legacy, man, how can people like save? How can people be smart financially during this time with the great global pandemic, COVID-19?
Yeah, this is tough, right? I mean, it's reevaluating, I think, and for most people. There's some business owners that I've talked to that are relatives and family. My dad still owns his business, right? He's still doing it. And really what I tell people is, whether you have your own business, whether you work for a company, it's really reevaluating and taking a look at the future and what that looks like. Because if people think we're going to go back to this new normal, it's not going to happen, right? Or not new normal, but the old normal, right?
Right.
There's going to be a new normal, and really capitalizing on that, right? So taking, your normal business structure and how you would have ran it, 6 months ago is not going to be how you would run it in the next 6 months. And so I think people can really take a step back, reevaluate things, see what's working for businesses that are out there right now, and start to structure your business in that way, right? And so business or even what you do in your day to day, or if you're looking to start a business, okay, this is what I can do. Because, as much as, it sounds crazy, but it's a great time to start a business if you do it the right way, because people are looking for a new way of doing things that don't jeopardize their health, right? So really what people can do is just really try to figure things out, and try to sit down and really take your time to evaluate it. Because if you just try to do what you've been doing and don't take a step back, you'll miss out, right? And then on top of that is just budgeting, right? I think one of the hard things is that budgeting, especially in my community and where I come from and from people I talk to, it's tough, right? People don't know how to put a budget together, right? So learn how to put a budget together. You're saving on gas, maybe you're not commuting, maybe you lost your job, right? Maybe you lost your job and you need to find supplemental income. And so taking a step back and writing everything down and really budgeting and putting things together, and trying to find out what you need. And then there's many websites out there. So if you have lost work, then you can find different grants and different things going on right now. Hopefully, another stimulus package is put together. But really, it's just kind of taking a step back and reevaluating things, right, and putting something together, a plan.
Man, that's awesome, man. So if anybody out there listening, if you need any financial advising, you can inbox me directly. I get you on Roman's information so he can actually put you on the road to success. I mean, I truly feel and believe that we all need that, because there was power in everything that you said. Because even with First and Goal, man, we're having to reset. We're actually doing things virtual. We're doing more virtual things. We're going to do the virtual Journey Beyond Dreams, Prepare to Dream College Experience program. We're doing the virtual leadership program, the virtual Care Share mentoring program. So we've had to pivot, right? Roman, I'm doing virtual presentations, right? Virtual presentations around the world, and I'm being paid virtually to actually speak, right? But the thing is, it's the new normal, and I think we have to make it work. But it's all about creating a plan and working your plan and being true to the plan, right? And I think that's what it really boils down to. That's what I heard you say, basically, right?
Yeah, be true. You got to be true to it. If you set a plan, be true to it. 100%. I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. Last segment, man. So when you think about legacy, what comes to your mind when you think about legacy? Because you talked about it earlier. And then what legacy do you want to leave?
Yeah, I think right, there's legacies in a lot of different ways, and you know, I saw your couple of episodes ago with you know, Chelsea writing books, right? I'm not a book writer, you know. I'd like to be, but but I'm not. And so having that, you know, those books, those manuscripts would be nice to have on you know, like my children's mantles and things like that.
Right.
But really, it's you know, the person that you are, right? And I think what you instill in your family, what you instill in your friends, you know, the people that are around you most,
Right.
is really the most important thing when you think about legacy. It's the person that you were and how you can be a better person, right? And then calling it out when someone isn't a great person, or they're doing something that they may not think is, you know, harmful, right? Or they're saying the wrong things, and say, hey, look, you know, let's break that down for a second. Why, you know, why did you say it that way, right? Or, you know, why can't we be a little bit more understanding? And I think that's you know, a big problem that we have right now with current leadership. You know, I'll put it that way, is that there's no there's no compassion, there's no understanding, there's no let me take what you're saying and put it into what I'm saying, right? So when we talk about legacy, right, generational wealth is another thing that I kind of brought on, and really, right, wealth doesn't bring happiness, right? But like I like to say, it makes it a lot easier down the road, as long as you have the right knowledge, right, the right tools to take that wealth and use it for either for good or for their family, for education, right? But really, wealth is just one part of it, right? You really have to instill your character into people. And I hope that what I do as far as my legacy is to teach people, right, there, that yes, there are financial goals, but you got to have the right outlook on life, right? You have to have the right passion in certain areas. You have to understand people, and then you can put that wealth to use, you know, and whatever that means for you. And if that means, you know, buying a Lamborghini, cool, buy a Lamborghini. But if it means donating, right, or giving to causes like your own, I think that's also important. We have to just be a better society, and I hope that that the people that I'm around understand that, you know, I'm all about spreading love. I'm all about spreading knowledge. I'm all about spreading, you know, compassion to them, and I hope that goes, you know, tenfold to the next people that they see, because I think that's extremely important.
Man, dude, you have hit all the boxes, dude, with everything you said today, man. It's really phenomenal, man, to see, man, how you've grown as an individual in your leadership, in your life, and in your role, in your position, based on everything that you're doing, because you really like speaking life. And our whole goal through this power session is really to like speak life, hope, encouragement, and inspiration, man. So I really appreciate you, man, for tuning in today, man, and being a part. You know, it's not the last time. Like I said, we're preparing to launch the virtual Prepare to Dream program. We'll be mapping out all the details, and I keep you informed to be a part of the process with us as well. And all the other countless things that we're doing as we look to bring former alum and former team members, man, to be a part of this journey with us, man, as we prepare to celebrate the 20 years as our organization. That's big, man. That's big.
I'm in. Whatever you got going on, Tyrone, I'm in there. You send me an email, you send me a text, you give me a phone call, and then I'll bring people along with me, and we'll make sure that whatever you're doing, it's powerful.
Okay, man, I appreciate that. If there were any parting words you'd like to say to anybody out there tuning in today, or any student, man, what's like an encouraging word, message, statement, or phrase that you would like to leave with today?
Yeah, that's man, you're throwing me a curveball, man. I'm, you know, I'm not good with quotes, but what I'll say is, is life is difficult, right? You know, and everybody has a story, right? Everybody has something that they've gone through in life, right? You know, my dad was hard on me growing up, right? And it's not until you get a little bit older that you realize why your dad did what he did, or why he is the way he is, right? And so if you're a student out there, you know, struggling, you know, just know that you can overcome it. There's going to be people around you that you can connect with. Don't be afraid to reach out. You know, there's a kid, you know, college student, came into my bank, was like, hey, I need a job, right? He was actually a son of migrant workers, and he got a scholarship out at, St. Edward's University, when I was assistant manager at a bank, and he was like, hey, I need a job. I said, man, let me do whatever I can to get you a job then. You know, we'll make it work. This is what you need. And he's an entrepreneur. He's a smart kid, but he was persistent. And he said, hey, came in the next week, send me emails after emails. And I'm like, man, I got to get this kid a job. If I don't get him a job, man, I'm going to feel bad. So persistence is always key, but also just know that if you go out there and if you want a job or if you want something, there's going to be people in those positions that are going to want to help you. And that's important to know, is that no matter where you go, if you put your soul out there, if you're honest, people are going to help you out. So just don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
Man, that's awesome, man. Dude, thanks for sharing all that information, man. Here it is, my man, Roman Coronado, talking about leadership, life, and legacy, and doing it in a major way. And like you said, if you like to support or be a part of First and Goal Inc. in regards to contributing as a monthly contributor or donor, man, you can go to our website, teamfirstandgoal.org, TEAMFIRSTANDGOAL.org. And I just really want to thank all those people who really support in this great work for us to do what we do as an organization. You got Roman, you have Rashad last week, you had Chelsea Davis Bill the week before last. We have individuals, man, who have relevant life stories, who made an impact, and we've been a part of the process. Not the ultimate thing that actually took them to the next level. We just were a part of the process, as well as others who really helped them along the way in their life and their journey. And I just thank you all for supporting this great work. I thank you again, Roman, man. I appreciate you, man. Love what you're doing. And remember, anybody, inbox me directly if you want information about Roman, to connect with him, if you want to get your financial plan and literacy together to have that true mindset about, having like that generational wealth and actually doing it the right way. And one other thing, I also got to give a big shout out to my man, Trey Lawson, man, with Always Press Record, who really edit our videos for us to really keep the message and narrative going, Roman. It's a collective effort in making this thing happen.
It is. I know you don't do it alone, so whatever I can do to help, I'm in there. And just to say, I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate the work that you do day in, day out, and I know that you're navigating this new normal. I know you like to be out there on the trenches with everybody and shaking hands, giving high fives to the kids. And so, I'm glad that you're continuing doing what you're doing. You're not straying away, and you're continuing to make sure that you push education and in the communities that you serve. So I appreciate everything that you're doing. And again, if I can do anything to help, I'm here for you.
Man, I appreciate that, Roman, man, because it is truly a new normal. It's hard for me to be still, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like in between these four walls, man. I got the gym downstairs in the garage. I got to go work out. I got a backyard where I can kind of give me some sprints in, throw the football to TJ, throw the baseball to Tyler. I got a total gym in the other. So I got to like move around. It's a new adjustment for me. I'm adjusting, dude.
You got to let that energy out, man. So
I have all this pent up energy, dude. You know what I mean? So I have to release it, man, somehow, man. But doing this work still, man, affords and give me the opportunity, as well as others like yourself, to do this work alongside with me, man, as we continue to make it happen, man. So I appreciate you, brother, man. Love you, man. Looking forward to connecting with you, man, as we keep this thing going. All right.
All right, man. Thank you so much for having me. You have a good one, Tyler.
All right. Peace and blessings, everybody. We'll see you again next week with my girl, Obi. Peace and blessings. Signing off. Power Session.